Recently, the One Voice Children's Choir from the United States visited Beijing, performing soul-stirring songs at iconic landmarks such as the Temple of Heaven. Their music resonated deeply with the Chinese audience, with ordinary Chinese and indeed with people from around the world, adding a heartfelt melody to the spirit of international friendship and highlighting the beauty of cultural exchanges during this time of unity and celebration. Today, we're very delighted to welcome some very special guests from the One Voice Children's Choir of the United States. Joining us are Masa Fukuda, the founder, conductor behind the choir's inspiring performances. Tenor DeWaal is the CEO and artistic director of the choir, and Michelle Boothe is the CEO and also artistic director of the children's choir. Welcome, my friends. First of all, Happy Lunar New Year. We're welcoming the Year of the Snake soon. Let's talk about your China tour so far. I believe Beijing is the last stop of your multi-city tour. How do you like China so far? How do you find the ordinary folks stopping and watching the choir, which happens all the time, by the way? And how do you like the vibe here, the musical and the artistic vibe? Maybe I can start with you, Tanner.
We love it. This is our second tour there, and it's really just magical. Taking these young kids it just opens their eyes to the world, and a number of them have never even been out of the United States. So it's their first time to travel internationally, and then their first time, of course, to be to China, and their eyes are just wide and so surprised at how welcoming everyone is.
Yeah, Masa, what do you think? How do you like the reaction that you got from the Chinese audience, or just folks on the street watching you guys?
Yeah, I think one of the magic that happens on our trip, unlike any other trip, is the fact that we actually get to almost like live amongst them by visiting schools and interact with children over there, sit in the same class, eat the same food, and obviously during that time we deepen our friendship. So when the music happens, our friendship is already, and the bond is already deeper.
Yeah, it's all about making connections. Michelle, what do you think? How do you feel?
I am just amazed and humbled by people's reaction. We try to do our very best, and whenever we see people get excited about what we're doing, it's humbling and really, really exciting, because our mission is to inspire the world. And so when we get a chance to do that in a place like China, that it really hits home for us and the choir members.
Okay, let's talk about some specifics. When the choir or when the kids were singing As You Wish, 如愿, at the historic, iconic Temple of Heaven, and then people stopped and watched, and that video went viral on Chinese internet and social media. So Tanner, was it a planned moment? Because it didn't look like a planned moment. It looks like the videos were shot from a phone, from a smartphone, not a highly choreographed television crew. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it was really spur of the moment. Michelle had a wonderful idea to sing it on that historic location. We're putting together a compilation music video of the choir singing in multiple locations on that tour, and we didn't know that anyone nearby was filming in addition to our camera crew. So it was definitely a surprise to see that get some traction on social media.
Masa, what was it like directing the kids over there, singing in Chinese for the Chinese audience? It was, the Chinese native speakers listening to them, and then still, we loved it.
Yeah, for us, it's just been like, we've been working so hard to learn the Chinese and try to make sure that our message is clear, that the Chinese people actually understand what we're singing, and so a lot of times as a director, I'm more concerned about, okay, are we conveying the message? And then all of a sudden I see the tears in people's eyes. It's pretty obvious that they're getting obviously they know the song, but our message is getting across, and that's when I realized, oh my gosh, this is happening. This is the magic, the music that transcends everything, and it's just all in live action and witnessing the miracle. And as a director, that is just one of my most rewarding moments.
Yeah, definitely. That was a very touching song, and that goes right to the heart of the Chinese. It strikes a chord in the heart of many, not just the younger Chinese, but the older generation, because this song inspires their memory of history, and then to the youngsters who, of course, interpret this song slightly differently, but still, the beautiful, beautiful singing over there. Tanner, also share with us, what are some of the other moments that really touched you in the heart during your China trip, which has been a very, extended trip, taking you through multiple cities?
One thing that was really touching to me was every area that we went, we flew into a number of cities, and we were greeted by, whether it was a children's choir or a youth group or some local fans, and they knew that we were coming, and they would give us gifts right away and the biggest smiles, and just greet us so warmly. I felt so comfortable, so safe, and so at home everywhere we went.
Yeah, I mean, China is a country that that loves to shower our guests with gifts, and then especially.
Yes, our suitcases were very full on the way home.
I'm not super surprised. Michelle, what about you?
I will say a lot of the kids expressed. There was one city we had the opportunity to sing at a hospital, and for a lot of kids that was really special for them. And actually we sang the Heal the World song and Tomorrow Will Be Better. We do a little mashup of Heal the World, Tomorrow Will Be Better, and We Are the World. And we sang it there with some of the patients there at the hospital, and there was just a really cool feeling of being able to lift people and remind them that we all are human beings on this planet that want tomorrow to be better. And that was probably something that I think will stay with a lot of the kids and with me.
Yeah, definitely. Well, which city was it? Where was it?
That was Beijing.
That was Beijing.
Yeah.
Lovely. Well, what a lovely experience. And thank you so much, by the way, for singing to the patients there. I mean, they're going through a difficult time, I suppose. Masa, what about you? What moments touched you throughout your China tour?
Man, there's so many moments. A hospital obviously was one of the most touching moments, but I think that for me, I think just from the get-go, when we got into Shenzhen, and we're still kind of, trying to get used to the new time zone, and we're getting warmed up into this tour, and one of the opportunities we had to collaborate with a girls' choir over there, and we sang together the Wish song, and immediately those hearts are connected, and I saw those kids just bonding. We were not even warming up to it, and then they were already just reaching out to us with such welcoming and open arms and hearts that we didn't even we normally tell the kids, you got to be very proactive in reaching out. Well, with no effort, because they did that for us, and we just felt so, like Tanner said, just so welcome from the get-go.
Very sweet, very sweet. And then, Tanner, let me circle back to you. Of course, kids, Chinese or American, they grew up in a certain society and culture. They hear about each other, through their friends, or, they read newspaper, they watch television, and there's a certain narrative going on about China, for example, about what Chinese people would be like. And then how would you compare what you hear about China, or what the kids hear about China, from others, versus the China that they really see and experience once they get here?
Well, I will say we're fortunate in One Voice Children's Choir to have a few people that have some Chinese heritage, and our choir is made up of kids from that have backgrounds of different nationalities. So not everyone is American, and so I think one thing that I love that we do and that we've built a culture of inside the choir is being respectful of each other's backgrounds, and that's where you come from, what you believe, what you want to pursue in life, what career path you want to go in. No matter what it is, we believe in being kind and caring, and so what I do think that the tour did for these kids is it opened their hearts further to caring more about understanding and looking for news about China. Look at the amazing things that are happening over there, because it's unfortunate today that a lot of the things that make the news are sensationalized or are negative, but there's so many amazing things.
Michelle, what about you? The China that the kids discovered for real, for themselves, versus the China that they heard?
You know, I was lucky. I was able to have a few of my very own kids with me, and we spoke a lot about what we were noticing. And my 16-year-old son said, you know, Mom, I think the thing that surprises me is all of us are living the human experience. He said to me, I think we're more the same than we are different. And that to me as a mom is great to hear, because I do want my kids to see that all of us here on planet Earth are more the same than we are different. Yeah. And we can celebrate each other's differences, but also unite in the things that we have in common.
Great, awesome, powerful message. Masa, what would you have to say?
For me, growing up in Japan, which seems so close to China, yet in a lot of ways it's different, right? I mean, it's kind of a stereotype when people think, yeah, there's a lot of similarities, but I just felt all these years I didn't know anything until I actually got there to really feel it for myself and experience what it's really like to be there. And I'm sorry, I get a little emotional when I talk about people in China, because I just I felt incredible amount of love from them that I never thought I would feel for anybody, in any country. I don't know if I've even gotten that much love from my own country in Japan, and I was just so humbled. And again, I just want to say to people, it's like, you know what? If you really want to know what it's like, you got to be there. You got to go and experience, and then you'll know firsthandly, like, what it's like, what the people are like, what the culture's like, the way of living, the way that they live, and what they believe in, all those things. Just you need to be there and not really base your opinion on what others say.
Beautiful, beautiful. And finally, before I let you go, it's the Chinese Lunar New Year, Year of the Snake. Any New Year's message, the Year of the Snake, which of course symbolizes vigility, vitality, and wisdom. Any New Year's message to the Chinese audience?
Have a very exciting new year, and that it's filled with as much vitality as you gave to us as we were there in your country. And Xin Yan Kuai La.
We've also prepared a music video of Wish that we'll be releasing, so we're excited to share that with you. It'll be on Bilibili soon.
Awesome. Masa?
Yeah, the Year of Snake. I kind of see snake as just like, you know, how it sheds its skin, like, you know, it's like a transformation. I really wish for everyone to try something new, and discover something new in their life that's exciting and adventurous. And I hope that in the process they'll succeed and thrive.
Awesome. Thank you all so very much for being here. And please come back to China at maybe in the summer, where Beijing is absolutely gorgeous. Come back again and come back to our show and say hello to the kids. And that's all we have for this edition of The Hub. Thank you so much for tuning in. Our news coverage continues on CGTN. Bye and Happy New Year.